The FBI now has Arizona's 2020 election records from Maricopa County, marking the latest step in President Trump's fruitless investigation into the race he lost 6 years ago. The move follows the FBI's seizure of ballots and other 2020 election-related material from Fulton County, Georgia, back in January. Trump has repeatedly claimed the race was stolen, but internal and external investigations never produced any evidence of fraud. Joining me now, former Maricopa County, Arizona recorder Stephen Richer. It's good to see you, Stephen, and I know you were the county recorder during that 2020 election. So what do you make of this move by the FBI?
It's befuddling. I don't know what they could possibly want. This is an election that has been investigated time and time again. It's been investigated by the Attorney General. It's been investigated by third-party auditors. It's been investigated pursuant to court cases. And it's even been investigated by very sympathetic allies to Donald Trump, the Cyber Ninjas, a group that audited it in 2021. And none of that yielded any real evidence of material fraud or material error. So here we are again. I don't know why.
So the 2020 ballots in Maricopa County, we should say, have been destroyed. Voting machines have been decommissioned. That's all standard. It's not anything nefarious.
Correct.
That's how it happens. So, I mean, can you even figure out what's going on here? They're not looking for the ballots. They can't go into the machines. So what are they getting exactly?
Yeah, well, it's important to note that they subpoenaed not the county, but they subpoenaed the state Senate. And the state Senate still had a number of digital archives left over from when it did that Cyber Ninjas audit. And so that would include things like voter data, like the ballot images, like voter registration information, like different reports on when people return ballots. I can't conceive of what they hope to put together through this. I don't know if it's just doing something to say you're doing something, or if they're going to use this to concoct some wild-eyed allegations. But so far, all we know is that they have that data that was left over from the Cyber Ninjas audit in 2021.
So knowing what you know, being an observer as well, do you think this is actually about finding fraud in the 2020 election, or is it equally or more so about sowing distrust of the election system ahead of the midterms?
I think it's probably in part pleasing the president. This is very important to him, and I think he's putting a lot of pressure on rank and file within the Justice Department, within Homeland Security, and within the FBI. And then I would imagine that this is a real crusade for at least a few within those offices who, in their heart of hearts, despite 5.5 years going without anyone uncovering anything that's admissible in court to claim any sort of fraud or error, who in their heart of hearts really believe that President Trump couldn't have possibly lost the 2020 election. And I think that if you're trying to ingratiate yourself with this administration, that's what you latch onto, and that's what you show you're a firm believer in.
During your time as recorder, you faced death threats. Fulton County workers and officials face the same in Georgia. Are you worried that we'll see more of the same surrounding November's election? And have you seen, because I'm sure you're still in touch with folks, that it's having an impact on, frankly, who even wants to work at an election anymore?
Well, yesterday's activities certainly had an impact, and they upended, I think, everyone within the elections community in Arizona, and it's certainly distracting. And I think it becomes more problematic as we get closer and closer to the midterm primary and then, of course, the midterm election. And so I do think that the consequences of this should be taken into account when politicians are talking about this. A lot of politicians think, well, isn't this just another game? And, you know, politicians, we lie a lot. That's what we do. Well, I'm here to tell you that those lies, they have negative consequences. They have downstream effects. And when high-profile politicians would lie about the administration of the 2020 or the 2022 election, then we would see it manifest in really ugly emails or people even showing up to our facility, and in a few instances, threats that were prosecuted by the Justice Department under the former administration in coalition with the FBI.
Let's state the obvious. Nobody should be harassed or threatened because they want to see free, secure elections for all of America. Steve Richer, for all the work you've done, thank you. And thank you for coming on the show as well.
Absolutely.